Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are LA.
Anticipation of opening day continues to build as the Angels finally come back to the Big A after a long stint in Arizona. Josh Hamilton is ready to take his first home swings as he and the Halos get ready for one of their final spring tune-ups. Dodgers and Angels is next.
It is a glorious night for baseball here at the Big A. The boys are back in town, although still spring training. The Freeway Series kicks off tonight, the first of three between your Angels and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hi, everybody from inside the Big A. We welcome you back to Angels baseball, this time on Prime Ticket. I'm Victor Rojas, along with my partner, Mark Gubiza. The Angels offensively this spring have swung the bats to no end. Just what everybody expected. On paper, this team seems to be pretty good. And offensively, they've provided a lot of firepower for Mike Scioscia.
Yeah, Victor, we knew this offense was going to be a lot of fun to watch. What they've done so far in spring training, if there's any indication what the season may look like, it's going to be a blast. Triples leading in baseball and triples. Stolen bases in the American League leading that. Hitting over 300, scored over 200 runs already. This offense can do a lot of things. They can steal the bases and also hit it out of the ballpark.
Well, the biggest problem so far this spring has been the pitching staff wondering what's going on with the back end of the rotation, the bullpen. Today we get a chance to see Joe Blanton unveiled as an Angel.
Well, he looks in great shape. He came in the camp. He lost 20 pounds. He's throwing a lot of fastballs for strikes. Last season, 4-to-1 ratio as far as walks to strikeouts, 10-game winner. He's going to have the defense behind him in the infield, the defense in the outfield. The ball's not going to carry quite as well, so look for him to throw even more strikes. He works exceptionally fast. I look for a big season from Joe Blanton.
It's certainly not hot like Arizona, but it is perfect night for baseball here at the Big A, and we are just about ready for that first pitch of the Freeway Series. Sit back and relax. We're going to bring you the lineups and the first pitch right after this.
As we mentioned, a spectacular night for baseball. Temperatures will be dipping down into the mid to low 50s tonight, but clearly, no question, a perfect night to at least experience baseball for the first time this year at the Big A. Here's the starting lineup for Don Mattingly and the Los Angeles Dodgers. A year ago, they were 86 and 76. Second in the National League West. Skip Schumacher, the Southern California product, will lead things off in left field. Mark Ellison at second base. Matt Kemp is in center field. Andre Ethier, the cleanup hitter at right. A.J. Ellis had a very nice season for the Dodgers last year behind the plate. He will bat fifth. Juan Uribe gets a start at third base. Scott Van Slyke over at first base. Justin Sellers is the shortstop. And the beauty of spring training, if you ask, you shall receive. The Dodgers are using their pitcher in the ninth spot. Hyun-Jin Ryu will bat ninth and do the pitching as they take on Joe Blanton.
Well, Joe Blanton will certainly like that. Anytime you get to face a pitcher as compared to a designated hitter, you'd like that. And Joe's been throwing the ball very well. We talked about around the strike zone. 0 walks in 3 starts, 9 strikeouts. Throwing the ball very well. Fastball command very good. Curveball, slider, changeup.
Joe Blanton, 32 years of age. Tennessee native, signing a 2-year deal in the offseason with the Halos. Spent time with these Dodgers last year, pitching in 10 games, 10 starts for them. And Schumacher steps in, and the first one tonight is a fastball in for a strike. Schumacher hitting .255 this spring. Last year with the St. Louis Cardinals at .276. This one's lifted out to left field. Mike Trout will make the catch, and that's perfect timing because it'll give us a chance to run through the defense for the Angels. As Mike Trout, we just saw, is patrolling left field. It's Peter Borges in center, Josh Hamilton in right. The infield heads Alberto Callasco and Eric Ibar on the left side. Howie Kendrick and Albert Pujols on the right. Chris Iannetta is serving as Joe Blanton's battery mate.
And Josh Hamilton playing right field. He's played center field. He's played left field. He's played some right field in his career. One of the best arms and covers a ton of ground. This outfield, and Joe Blanton said that to me in spring training, if I can keep it in the yard with that outfield speed, it's going to be caught.
0-1 pitch to Mark Ellis is outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ellis, hitting .283 this spring. .258 last year for the Dodgers. A lot of expectations for both of these ball clubs as that one's pulled foul. And it's a ball and 2 strikes.
And as usual, Joe Blanton getting ahead of the count, and Don Mattingly having his team try to be patient. But when you know somebody, and Joe Blanton pitched for Don Mattingly, he's been very successful as far as patience. He knows they have to be up there hacking.
This one off the end of the bat, and it's just foul up the first base line. A cue shot off the bat of Ellis. The count remains at 1-2. But as we pointed out, we just showed you Don Mattingly. You talk about star power for both of these teams. Obviously, the transformation for the Dodgers started last year. The Angels, same thing with the acquisition of Pujols and then signing Hamilton this offseason. This one's fouled back. But the Dodgers themselves, that big trade with the Boston Red Sox. And then not messing around this offseason, just trying to provide Don Mattingly and his coaching staff all of the pieces to try to compete and unseat the San Francisco Giants as Ellis bounces this one foul on the third base.
Yeah, a lot of people expect them to do so. The Giants are a team that plays great baseball, but this Dodger club has a ton of talent, great pitching too. Zach Greinke, who we saw wearing an Angel uniform last season, when healthy, should be the number 2 starter behind Clayton Kershaw, a dominant number 1 starter for the Dodgers.
Count is evened up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's Clayton Kershaw. Jared Weaver, although nothing officially named, but slated to be the opening day starter on Monday in Cincinnati. A little cue shot back to the mound, and Blanton will throw on the first 2 outs.
Again, a lot of strikes thrown from Joe Blanton around the strike zone, and hitters know that. That gets around the leg that this pitcher right here is going to throw a lot of strikes, and so we have to be prepared to swing on that first pitch, although Don Mattingly preaches patience for the Dodgers in all his years with the Yankees. Same thing when Joe Torre was running the Yankees. But the reality is you don't want to fall behind too often, especially when a guy's around the zone early.
Well, here's Matt Kemp with 2 outs and the base is clear. 106 games last year, a couple of stints on the disabled list. At 303. Pulls the first one toward the hole, and that's a seeing eye single through the left side. So Kemp reaches for 2 outs here in the first.
Well, Matt Kemp's in good shape himself here. Lost some weight, trying to get back to bat speed. Trying to stay healthy. Ground ball through the hole between third and short. Again, swinging early in the count because they have that report that Joe Blanton's around that strike zone. So you're going to see a lot of early swings.
Well, you mentioned that, and we were kind of talking about this before we started our broadcast about Joe Blanton. And granted, there are official stats in spring training, and then there are other stats that are just not kept because it's a AAA game or it's a B game or a simulated game. But as far as official Cactus League stats for Joe Blanton, 13 innings, 13 hits, 9 strikeouts, no walks, and a 3.46 ERA. And I hate to use the word, he's been a nice surprise, but he has been a nice surprise. And right now, if everything plays out, Zethier breaks his bat, hits a one-hopper to Kendrick. That will end the side. Blanton should be the number 3 starter at the start of the season. We'll head to the bottom of the first and give you Mike Scioscia's lineup when we return. No score here at the Big A. Giving up a single. Let's take a look at Mike Scioscia's starting 9 offensively for the Angels. Tonight, Mike Trout will lead things off and play left field. Eric Ivar in that 2 spot. He will be that 2-hole hitter this year, at least to start this season, according to Mike Scioscia. Albert Pujols batting third, playing first. Josh Hamilton is the cleanup hitter in right. Mark Trumbo serving as the DH tonight. Howie Kendrick at second. It's Alberto Callasco at third base. Chris Iannetta doing the catching. At Peter Borges batting ninth and playing center field. Taking on the left-hander Hyun-Jin Ryu, the native of Korea, coming over in his first season of Major League Baseball. There's his numbers in spring training.
Yeah, he's done a nice job as far as throwing strikes. A lot of pitches on the outside part of the plate. He'll throw a cut fastball, but his fastball 88 to 91 range, curveball, slider, changeup, generally on the outside part of the plate, and will elevate his fastball.
0-1 pitch is a called strike. An 0-2 count on Mike Trout. 373 during Cactus League action with a home run at 10 runs batted in. Oh, 2, a little bit high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trout, of course, the American League Rookie of the Year.
Well, he had some rockets in spring training in Arizona. The dead center field, a couple games I saw right against the wall at 420.
1-2. Down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ryu signing a 6-year, $36 million contract this offseason. Sporting the number 99. 2-2 is fouled off to the right. Mitch Williams would have to be the last pitcher, right? Wearing 99.
I almost wonder if he's a Wayne Gretzky fan or a Manny Ramirez fan wearing the number 99.
Where's Manny at? Taiwan? Is that right?
I think so.
Two on the way. A little bit high. A full count. Someone likened Hyun-Jin Ryu to a Barry Zito type. Not going to overpower you with a fastball, as you pointed out. Lives upstairs, kind of change that eye level with that high fastball, the curveball.
Living away, staying away from the power zone, the inner half. And we talked to Hall of Famer Jim Palmer about that. Remember how he said, this live away with the fastball, change speeds on the outer half. If the hitters eventually make that adjustment and start hitting the ball the other way, then you have to pitch inside. But until that happens, he can be successful living away.
It's funny that you say that, because it kind of contradicts certain pitchers that say you've got to establish the inside part of the plate. As Trout hits one out toward right field, playable for Ethier. One away. Check out Donnie Baseball's defense for the Dodgers. Schumacher in left, Kemp in center. We just saw Ethier patrolling right field. The infield has Uribe, Sellers, Ellis, and Van Slyke around from third to first. A.J. Ellis is doing the catching.
Matt Kemp out in center field, looks in tremendous shape. Former Gold Glover for the Dodgers, patrolling that outfield. Very aggressive. He has a very strong arm. We'll go back on the baseball exception, although he did get hurt last season running into the wall. That's what hurt that shoulder when he ended up having an operation on it.
Eric Ibar swinging at the first pitch, bounces one near the bag at third, and Juan Uribe throws out Eric Ibar for the second out. Just kind of going back to that point about some guys saying that you've got to establish the inside part of the plate so that you can open up.
Yeah, even at the high school level, when I'm talking to the high school pitchers I'm working with, I still say you have to show in. You don't have to throw a strike on the inside part of the plate. That's when you throw the fastball, maybe a baseball or two off the inside corner to make that outside part of the plate that more difficult to be able to make good contact against it. But you can't. It's very difficult to live every pitch away because eventually hitters make that adjustment against you.
Here's Albert with 2 outs and the bases clear and looks at a strike. Pujols, one of those guys that really took a liking to the World Baseball Classic this year, just from the extended time in spring training. As this one's off the end of the bat, Maria will have himself a 1-2 inning, giving Albert the opportunity to work his way back from that off-season knee surgery. One of the books, we're scoreless. A lot of Angel fans as well as Dodger fans in the
Star
house.
power right there. Trout and Kemp.
Like the old Brooklyn had too. Ellis, Uribe, and Van Slyke to face Joe Blanton, and the first one is in for a strike. Mentioned A.J. Ellis last year had a very good season behind the plate for the Dodgers. Offensively, 270 with 13 home runs and 52 runs batted in.
But it's an interesting confrontation, though. A.J. caught Joe Blanton a number of times last year, and A.J. known as a guy that's very patient in play, sees a lot of pitches, but he also knows that Joe Blanton is consistently in the strike zones. That's why you see him swinging earlier in the count.
Ellis hits out to straightaway center field. Peter Borges is back there. He'll corral it for the first out here in the second. You weren't a fan of facing former teammate catchers of yours?
No, it didn't work real well. Yeah, for some reason I just felt that they knew exactly what I was going to try to do to them at the plate. Instead of just reacting with the catcher would put down, I'm thinking, okay, he's looking away, so I better throw in. And then, of course, then I make a mistake in and he crushes the ball. So I just assume not know that person on the other team as much as possible.
Juan Uribe will look at a strike. Uribe getting the start at third base. Last year of his contract. It'll be interesting what Don Mattingly does now with that left side of the infield. Hanley Ramirez out for an extended period of time. Hurt himself during the World Baseball Classic, the championship game. Uribe looks at a strike, and it's 1-2.
A lot of pressure on Don Mattingly and the Dodgers this season also. The expectations being high. Well, he's used to that, though, playing all those years wearing the pinstripes in New York, so he's used to pressure.
2-2 on the way. Uribe fouls it off. You know, and that's why, not scoff, but you kind of giggle a little bit about the talk going into spring training. And Don Mattingly on the proverbial hot seat. Last year of a deal. Are they going to extend him? Is he dead man walking, if you will, as Uribe lines one to left field. Trout comes on, plays it on a one hop. Nice effort on the sinking liner, but Uribe reaches on the one out single. But just back to Mattingly, here's a guy that was a low round draft pick, had to work his way up to the big leagues, became an MVP, terrific player in New York of all places when they weren't going good. So he's experienced pretty much everything that every one of those guys on that 40-man roster, star power to guys that very little or no time in the big leagues, has gone through. He would be the perfect guy to manage that clubhouse.
I agree 100% behind that, because the expectations there for this club, they have the money to spend. You have the right guy there that can absorb some of that negativity if it comes around.
And there is star power all the way throughout that 40-man roster.
Like both these teams, it used to be not too long ago, was always the conversation during the offseason, what are the Red Sox and the Yankees doing during the offseason? Now it seems to be it's the Angels and the Dodgers.
And Slide pops this one up near the on-deck circle for the Dodgers, and Chris Iannetta reaches up and gets that screen and makes the catch. He kind of came up grabbing at the shin guard, the left shin guard. Maybe slipped a little bit.
Well, that's a real good play. Kept his eye on the baseball as it goes towards the Sweets over there, keeps his eye on it against that guard, and then trips on the way back. He's bounced off that area down there to be able to protect the fans. A good concentration by Chris Iannetta. Not an easy thing to do. You have to get rid of the mask and try to find the baseball. That's why it's important for communication by your pitcher and your first baseman. Let him know where exactly he's going to be when he gets to that warning track.
Uribe still at first base with 2 outs. Here's Justin Sellers getting the start at shortstop tonight. He'll look at a fastball for a strike. Talk about expectations going into this season as far as the Dodgers. There's certainly a lot of expectations for the Angels, as there was last year. Coming out of spring training, everything seemed to be clicking, and all of a sudden the 8 and 15 month of April happened. This one pulled into left field, a base hit to Sellers. The Dodgers have a couple of men on with 2 outs here, and that'll bring up the pitcher Ryu.
All our conversations out in Arizona with Mike Scioscia, he's obviously very comfortable with his offense right now. Just trying to make sure he gets the pitching staff to gain that confidence that they need to be successful. The rotation the last time around or two been much better. Now the bullpen, he wants to be able to get in a position where he can have guys going in that 7th inning, the 8th inning specials, some lefties to be able to get some lefties out, and of course Ernesto Frieri to be able to close it out. Ryan Matson's had some great bullpens of late. He's going to be traveling with the team to Cincinnati, so that's a good sign.
Ryu bounces one back to Blanton. That will end the top of the second. We'll head to the bottom of the second. It'll be Josh Hamilton, Mark Trumbo, and Howie Kendrick coming up with no score. Josh Hamilton to lead things off against Hyun-Jun Ryu, the left-handed starter for the Dodgers. Ryu had himself a 1-2-3 first inning as Josh Hamilton introduced for the first time here at the Big A, wearing the Angels red. 148 games last year for Hamilton. Those are the numbers that he put up as the first fastball was a little bit high, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. Josh has hit .294 this spring with a couple of home runs. 10 runs batted in. 2 balls, no strikes.
Showing some patience. 2 strikes. I mean, 2 pitches. Not swinging. 9 first pitch home runs last year for Josh Hamilton. Very aggressive on that first pitch.
2-0 cuts through the fastball as Ryu dialed it up to 91. It's 2 balls and a strike. Got off to an incredible start last year. And then the second half of the season hit for Hamilton, and it was a rough one as he drives one high and deep toward left center field. Kemp is going back, as is Schumacher. That ball tailing back towards Schumacher. And there's the first out here in the second.
What a pretty good swing there from Josh. He's got underneath just a bit. Trying to go fastball away, but was elevated over the plate. See that power? He's got tremendous power going the other way, Josh Hamilton. Great balance and threw the baseball, but just got underneath it. Split a difference between a fly ball here, the Big A at night, as compared to what we've seen some of those fly balls hit in Arizona.
Oh, no, not the dreaded marine layer again. We're not talking about that, are we?
No, just talking about the difference in a night game. That's compared to a day game in Arizona.
Let's leave that in 2012, all right? 0-1 count on Mark Trumbo, because we didn't hear enough about that last year. Trumbo hitting .266 this spring. Fouls back the fastball, and it's an 0-2 count. Kind of a tale of 2 seasons for Mark last year as well. All-star in the first half, and then just could not get it figured out. Caught in between. Better part of the second half. This one fouled off to the right, and it's still 0-2.
Well, he's had some pretty good swings over the last couple of weeks in spring training here. Driving the ball well the other way. Line drives into the left field. Jim Eppert, hitting coach, is real happy with his adjustments he's been making in the course of the game. Whether he's had a tough at bat, the first at bat, comes back with a very good second at bat.
Breaking pitch, a swing and a miss, and Ellis will have to throw on to first to complete the strikeout. That is the second out here in the second. Hey, fans, opening night at the Big A is April the 9th. The Angels taking on the Oakland Athletics. That's a 7:05 start. Fans in attendance will receive an Angels wall calendar courtesy of Smart & Final while supplies last. Purchase your tickets today at the Angels Stadium ticket office or by logging on at angels.com. Ryu picks up the first strikeout of the ball game as Howie takes outside for ball 1. Howie's cooled off a little bit. He's only hitting .467 this spring.
Great sound off the bat for him also. Both these pitchers throwing a lot of strikes. Can throw their off-speed pitches for a strike. That's what Ryu just threw there on a 1-0 fastball count against Kendrick.
Slow breaking pitch. I think it slipped out of the hand of Ryu. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Check swing roller up the line, but foul. Angel Campos, first base umpire, making the call. 2-2 count. And as you pointed out in the top of the first inning, bottom of the first inning, the Ryu, a lot of off-speed stuff, keeping you off balance. Most of it away from right-handed batters. Swinging a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts. Another 1-2-3 inning for Ryu. 2 in the books. No score. score. Joe Bland to face the top of the order. Schumacher, Ellis, and Kemp for the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's our pleasure to welcome the Angels general manager, Jerry DiPoto, kind enough to join us here inside our booth, our makeshift booth. We've kind of slapped this together very quickly. It is preseason for us as well, so pardon us for the dust and the mess that's around here.
That's quite all right. I'm glad the preseason's almost over.
How's your spring training going so far? Are you happy where this team is at leading up to Monday's opener?
Yeah, largely because we're healthy. We're as healthy as we expected to be coming out of spring training, knock on wood. We've got 3 days left to go here. It's fun to be back in our ballpark with a little crispness to the air, and let's get after it.
Yeah, you're watching Joe Bland pitch tonight. A lot of first pitch strikes. You talk about a guy that could throw a lot of pitches for you, can get you deep into games. You got to be happy with what you've seen so far from him.
Absolutely. It's been standard for Joe all spring. You know, he was facing his 23rd hitter of the spring before he fell behind for even a pitch. So this is how he's approached the entire spring. He's in great shape. He's throwing the ball well. And then really it's good to see him doing it here in the big stadium.
Schumacher takes down low, and it's a full count. Schumacher 0 for 1 with a fly ball to left. How do you and your staff, Mike Socha and his staff, go about evaluating guys in spring training, especially considering the offensive side because of the thin air and the pitchers because of that thin air as well?
Well, you try not to get too caught up, particularly with the understanding of what the Cactus League is like in the spring. It's such an offensive-friendly environment. It sometimes doesn't treat pitchers quite that well, especially fly ball guys, which we have quite a few of. So we didn't get too hung up on the numbers. We were more, I guess, inclined to look at their approach. You know, like we talked about, just getting out there, killing the strike zone, just making sure you're working on your secondary pitches like a lot of our guys did. And now that we're in our stadium, it's on for real. You know, you get back in the big league stadium and you feel that little extra edge, and the arm feels a little better than it did yesterday. And I think most of our guys are exhilarated to be back in the stadium playing.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of the pitchers out there. You went through the same thing with that dead arm period at certain parts of spring training. But then all of a sudden, when you get to your regular stadium, all of a sudden everything feels good. You feel 100% and a little bit more life on that fastball.
Oh, I think the first day you're back and you're throwing in the big league bullpen, you feel like you're throwing rockets. It sounds loud. You feel good. It's nighttime. You feel a little crispness. I think a lot of the guys, when we go down to spring training, really want to get out there in one of the night games that we play at various stadiums around the Cactus League just to get that feeling. It's their time, like we play most of the games.
Angels general manager Jerry DiPoto kind enough to join us here in the third. Mark Ellis with a base hit, and that'll bring up Matt Kemp with no score here in the third. As far as the way the lineup shapes up, we heard Mike last week talk about Eric Ibar in that number 2 spot. How much internally was it discussed between baseball ops and Mike and his staff deciding the best fit, not only for the individual that's going to be in that spot, but also for this lineup and the way this lineup should work in theory?
Well, we talked about it quite a bit, even dating back to the offseason, once we acquired Josh and all the pieces were in place to put the lineup together. And I think Ibar was the favorite going into spring training to be that guy. Obviously, he was off at the WBC for quite some time, so was not there. But we're a better team with Eric at the top, stirring things up. I think that's the way Mike favored it from the very get-go. We had a number of conversations. There were a couple of ways we could have gone, but this makes us the most, I guess, diverse and athletic team that we can be.
Is it because Eric can handle the bat a little bit if needed to, drop the bunt from either side of the plate, if that so fits Mike in that game on any given night?
Yeah, I think so, but by and large, even anymore, the number 2 hitter, and you guys have seen the way baseball's evolved over time, the number 2 hitter in today's lineup isn't necessarily a bat handler as much as it was, 25, 35 years ago, but particularly more of a National League style. American League, you get a fastball hitter up there that can move the ball around the ballpark, and that kind of does the trick, and Eric is certainly good at that.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact is, you have a lot of pitchers that hits the contact, fly ball type pitchers, but you have an outfield now, especially with Peter Borges settling in center field, that they can catch anything that's hit in the air.
Which is very encouraging to us. It's one of the things that we looked at when we were putting the pitching staff together is, the combination of ballpark and what we think is an extremely good outfield defense really gave us the advantage of going and pursuing pitchers that could fit into our ballpark / 25-man roster mix a little better than maybe they do elsewhere. So it allowed us to access guys like Jason Vargas and Joe Blanton and Tommy Hansen, to name a few. But from fly ball pitcher perspective, I could go on and add guys like Jared Weaver and Ernesto Frieri. But we have quite a few of that style of pitcher on our staff, and we're not afraid of them.
0-2 count on Andre Ethier. Matt Kemp striking out. That's the first punch out for Joe Blanton so far in this game. No score here in the third. Jerry DePoto kind enough to join us. And I don't want to get too far into a question here, unless you don't mind hanging out till the bottom.
Oh, I've got nowhere else to go.
Perfect.
I'm watching this game.
Just making sure, that's all. If you're fouling this one off. The question for me is going back to this past week and the transactions. And, first of all, the Vernon Wells thing, how quickly did that come together? And I know you have conversations with teams, going even back to the end of the season. But how quickly did that come together? And how do you feel about that? And the mindset for Peter Borges, knowing that, hey, I don't have to really look over my shoulder. Not that he had to, but for peace of mind's sake for Peter.
Well, I know last year was a tough year for Pete, but if this gives him peace of mind, then great. I hope he didn't feel like he needed that coming into spring training because, obviously it's in our best interest as a club. It's in Peter's best interest as a player to feel as if he's the man out there. And I believe he does right now. How much of that can be attributed to Vernon no longer being out there, I can't say for sure. But if it makes Peter feel better, I'm all for that because we love him as a player. And, how fast did the Vernon deal come together? It came together pretty quickly, to be honest with you. It was a probably less than 72-hour window from the time the discussion started to when we were able to wrap it up. And obviously Vernon gave us the approval with the full no trade to waive and head off to New York. And we think it's the best outcome for all parties.
And over the last couple of days, a couple of guys have signed Mark a little minor league deal, and you made a couple of acquisitions as well. Tell us a little bit about the two kids from the New York Mets and as well as the kid from the Tampa Bay Rays.
We brought in some pitchers. We need some pitching depth, and that was a focus for us. We can go into it after break.
Perfect. See, I asked the question so that I made you stay here to the bottom of the third inning. Well, to the bottom of the third with no score. Kayasman Ionetta Borges coming up. Runners. Jerry DePoto is kind enough to stick around, and actually we kind of forced him to stick around for the bottom of the third inning. We certainly appreciate it, but we were talking about pitching depth, which you like to talk about a lot this past offseason, inquiring pitching depth as much as possible. You did that this week. We were talking about the two kids one from the Mets and the other one from the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, in addition to Mark Lowe, this is that 10-day period of the season where there really is a great opportunity, whether it be through the waiver wire or players that just didn't fit where they were, and they're available at this time of year and more accessible than they've ever been. To start with Mark Lowe, he's a guy that we actually approached last October / November when free agency first got underway, and we pursued him on a very similar type minor league contract, and we were fairly aggressive with him on multiple different occasions through January, when ultimately he opted to go to the Dodgers, and didn't fit for him over with the Dodgers. They had a lot of numbers in their bullpen, and it was a great opportunity for us. As soon as he was informed on Monday that he wasn't going to be making the club and was free to go, we put the phone call in, and and jumped on Mark, we feel like he can be a big part of what we're doing as we move forward.
And you got a couple decisions you still have to make, some tough ones as far as filling out that 25-man roster. How's that process go when you go in and have a conversation with Mike Scioscia that what is the best needs for this club, because there's a couple spots still seem to be open here?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we'll go into this final couple of days with a couple of decisions to make. There are only a few bodies left. You know, we have 2 decisions left to make on our staff. We've got Garrett Richards, we've got Jerome Williams, who provide length, and in Garrett's case, electric stuff. I mean, I feel like Garrett can pitch in just about any role on a team and make an impact. Jerome provides us with length and protection to our starting rotation. And then, you know, David Carpenter, Mitch Stetter have been fighting it out for that last spot on the staff to go along with the fellows that we've already have penciled in, so to speak. And we'll add Mark Lowe to that mix. And obviously Mark's experience gives him somewhat of an intriguing package to bring to the table. He's pitched in winning environments the last half dozen years and should fit us well. In addition to Mark, we did bring on a couple of guys yesterday. Dane De La Rosa from Tampa Bay, who is a 6'7", downhill plane, mid-90s fastball guy with a split finger out pitch, who's had extreme strikeout rates at AAA level. He's closed at AAA, has yet to find his groove, so to speak. Hasn't had the success in the big leagues that you'd like to see, but he's had his feet wet. He's going to start with us at Salt Lake in AAA, and we feel like it's a nice protection for our big league staff and a guy who we can catch lightning in a bottle with. And then Elvin Ramirez, who we picked up yesterday from the Mets in a cash consideration deal. We spent some time earlier this spring cleaning up our roster and creating some open space for just this purpose. And when the Mets were faced with adding 3 non-roster players to their roster, they needed the spots. They were at 40, and Elvin Ramirez became available. And at 25 years old with a mid-90s fastball, it'll get up to 97, 98, and he does it easy. We feel like it's a nice upgrade for us.
That's the second out here in the bottom of the third. You mentioned Garrett Richards, and his stuff could play whether it as a starter or as a reliever, long guy, short guy, whatever the case may be. In determining something like that, a guy like Nick Miranda being set down to be a bullpen-specific guy, what goes into that decision to say, here's a guy that was a starter through the minor leagues, now we're saying, we need you, your stuff plays better out of the bullpen. What does that mean to the average fan?
Well, you know, some guys have the type of stuff or pitch diversity to be able to go out and go through a major league lineup 3 times, which is effectively how you're trying to determine if you have a starter or reliever. Garrett Richards has the weapons and the overall control, to be honest, to go out there and go through a major league lineup multiple times. He also has the stuff to be able to elevate the game and come in and blow somebody's doors off for an inning or 2. So he's a unique animal in that regard. Nick Miranda, not as much pitch diversity. Nick struggled some this spring, and it was a long spring for him because we were trying to really drive home the need to refine the secondary pitches. And at the end of the spring, we sat down with Nick and talked to him about what role he felt most comfortable in. And the answer that came out of his mouth was, I'm most comfortable in the bullpen. I think that's when I'm at my best.
Jared, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. A 1-2-3 inning for Rio. And
sure.
We'll hopefully talk to you either on Saturday or Sunday or even Monday from Cincinnati.
I'll be here.
Scoreless after 3. Kind enough to stop by for an inning. Got a chance to watch that young man right there, left-hander. Hyunjin Ryu has been spectacular so far. 9 up and 9 down, including 3 strikeouts. Joe Blanton so far, 1 strikeout, no walks, 4 hits allowed. Using A.J. Ellis. That sinking fastball. It's taken inside. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Ellis, Uribe, and Van Slyke for the Dodgers here in the 4th. That is pulled to third. Teoscar's got it, 1 out.
Still a firm believer when you have a pitcher throwing a lot of strikes, working quickly, you're going to have those type of plays defensively made behind you. And Callaspo, quick reaction. He's on his toes because he has a pitcher throwing a ton of strikes. Reaches up and catches that line drive.
Well, both of these guys, Blanton and Ryu, working very quickly, both throwing a lot of strikes. It's tough sometimes to kind of watch a game on TV and engage what a guy is capable of doing. You have to see him live to see kind of how he commands the strike zone and what feel for his pitches and the like. Both have done it spectacularly so far. And Ryu has been impressive. First time I've got a chance to see him in person.
Yeah, I saw him down in spring training. Same thing, a lot of pitches away, but he throws all his pitches for strikes on the outer half. Same thing you're seeing from Blanton. Blanton throwing his curveball for a strike, his changeup, his two-seamer for a strike.
1-1 pitch is a breaking ball low, 2 balls and a strike.
He's faced 15 batters, 13 first pitch strikes for Joe Blanton so far tonight.
Uribe bounces it foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes. You can't blink a whole lot with Blanton. You're going to miss a pitch.
Yeah, and when you look where he's standing on the pitching rubber, it's not the norm for a right-handed pitcher. Most times you're going to favor middle part of the pitching rubber to the left side by the third base side of the pitching rubber. He's on the first base side. Very little wasted movement for him.
They wanted to peel it first. And Angel Campos says he did not go around.
Yeah, most times you're going to see pitchers over on this part of the rubber, but he's all the way on the first base side. It allows him to pitch to the outer half much better.
And back to the fastball. Joe last year finishing up with the Dodgers. 10 starts, 2-4 record, a 4.99 ERA. Swing and a miss, down goes Uribe, 2 outs.
We start on that first base side of the pitching rubber, hides the ball well, gets Uribe to swing at a changeup. Even though it was up, the speed itself got him out in front enough where to get the swing and miss at 83 miles an hour. So location and able to run that ball in the inner half after pitching exclusively early in the count away against Uribe.
Breaking pitch is in for a strike on Scott Van Slyke, and it will start tonight at first base. Slyke is 0 for 1, fouled out. Chris Iannetta. Fastball didn't miss by much. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Would you get a chance to see Joe Blanton's routine as far as workout routine down there in spring training after he pitches a game? He's working hard right after he's off that mound. He's got himself in great shape. He didn't want to talk about that a lot. He says that my job is to go out and get people out, and he made an adjustment in his routine during the wintertime.
Missed out away with a breaking ball. Well, we had that press conference early on to announce, was it 5 guys at the time, 4 guys, pitchers? And we said the same thing. He looks like he's in pretty good shape, and he obviously maintained it in the offseason. High bar with the backhand, throws out Van Slyke, and Blanton himself with a 1, 2, 3, 4. We're still scoreless here at the Big A. Big A, the Freeway Series kicking off first of 3. Tomorrow night it'll be at Dodger Stadium, and then back here at the Big A on Saturday. The Angels still looking for that first base runner tonight. Here's our Twitter poll question. Who's the Angels' backup catcher? Hank Conger, John Hester, Chris Snyder. Hashtags are right underneath the names. Just send us your answer. We'll keep track of that poll as this one's shot out to the alley in right center field. Matt Kemp got a terrific jump on that ball and tracks it down as he steps onto the warning track. 1 pitch and 1 out to start this 4th.
Well, you can always tell when someone's a very good outfitter. That first step, that reaction, reading the baseball off the back. This ball is hit very well by Trout. But Kemp able to cruise underneath there because we had some collisions into the wall last season. He wanted to make sure he was in position to make the play before he got up against that warning track and then the wall.
.39 pitches thrown by Hyun-Jun Ryu. 10 up and 10 down. Retired by the left-handers. Eric Ibar steps up. Eric swung at the first pitch in the first inning and grounded out to third. Shows bunt, takes that pitch a little bit high. Interesting to note Jerry DiPoto's comments on Eric Ibar, the selection of Ibar as a number 2 hitter. One ball, 1 strike, and obviously anything could change. But there was talk whether it was Ibar, Alberto Callaspo is a patient guy at the plate. Some that theorized that maybe even a guy like Chris Iannetta would be, because he is patient and the like, could hold down that number 2 spot in the order.
And even people thought with Howie Kendrick getting more fastballs from that position, with Mike Trout ideally being on base and then Albert Pujols behind you, more fastballs to hit.
Ibar pulls one toward the hole at short. Sellers has it. Ibar retired for round number 2.
We mentioned earlier about Ryu being able to throw a fastball inside. That's why that's an effective pitch for him, because you look at him away a lot. And then he's able to run that fastball inside on Eric Ibar, jammed him in that ground ball to shortstop.
There's Albert. 2 outs, bases clear, and the slow curveball drops in there. Albert fooled on an off-speed pitch in the first inning. A little number back to the mound. 0 for 1. Swings and misses on the off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2.
Very difficult pitch for a hitter to stay back on a slow pitch on the outer half like that. You have to force yourself to think in terms of hit the ball to right field. If you try to pull that, you're going to pull off the baseball.
Down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Impressive by Rio is that he's just sticking with his game plan right now. It's successful, so why even mess around with anything else until the offense starts to make adjustments? Swing and a miss. Down goes Pujols. Hyun-Jun Ryu remains perfect through 4. Scoreless here at the Big A. done after 4 spectacular innings, 4 perfect innings for the Korean left-hander. I would say that he is ready for the season. 48 pitches, let's call it a day.
Yeah, we talked about his ability to change eye levels with a fastball. He did that to get pull, also swing and miss to finish off his night. Just great stuff as far as changing speeds and spotting the fastball.
No question about it. Dodgers sending up 8, 9, and 1 here in the 5th inning. Sellers, the pitcher's spot, and then Schumacher. Sellers showing bunt, takes down low. It's 1 ball, 1 strike on the shortstop, who had a single in the 2nd inning. Product of Marina High School, Huntington Beach. Got into 19 games last year with the Dodgers at 205. This one line to left. Trout coming on the sinking liner, and he'll make the diving catch. Nice play by Mike Trout. Robin Sellers of his 2nd hit of the ball game. There's the first out.
Mike Trout almost made it a similar type of play earlier in the game. This time got the good read and was able to come in on that baseball and get it just before it goes in the outfield grass. Very quick, good read. Never took his eye off the baseball, looked it into the glove to get that first out.
A lot has been made about Mike Trout, the shift over to left field from Peter Borges to control center. This one's cut on and bounced sharply over to second base. Mike Smith is retired, the pinch hitter in that pitcher spot, 2 outs. Hey fans, a 20-game flex plan presented by Farmer John is a great way to see Angels baseball. Just select the 20 games you want to see and receive a ticket to Fan Appreciation Day for free. Buy your flex plan today at angels.com/mini plans or by calling 888-796-HALO. You thought because this was a spring training game, I wasn't going to test you?
No, I was ready.
It's a good thing it's on the screen. Top of the order is Skip Schumacher, the left fielder, looks at a breaking pitch inside. Schumacher's 0 for 2. Fly ball to left, ground ball to second. That one missing downstairs.
Well,
2 balls and no strikes.
Real good movement on it. 81-mile-an-hour pitch from Blanton. Starts on the inner half of the plate and then breaks down. Didn't miss by a lot.
2-1. Schumacher, a Southern California guy. Lisa Niguel High School. It's just missed off the plate. 3 balls and a strike.
Pretty good pickup for the Dodgers there.
Yeah.
High energy guy, could play a number of positions. Good contact hitter.
Makes his home down in South County. Ladera Ranch, just toward the middle. Howie dives, can't get it. Base hit for Schumacher with 2 outs here in the 5th. And for the Dodgers, that's their 5th hit tonight.
Well, you think with Mark Ellis coming up with Schumacher, pretty good speed, you might see something put on by Don Mattingly, because we talked about his ability to make good contact ground ball. Howie almost able to make the play, diving. Howie healthy this year, got the elbow cleaned up during the offseason. He's been very comfortable fielding his position this year. We talked about how well he's been hitting, but he's been doing a good job with the glove also.
Yeah, even if Howie comes up with that ball, I'm not sure that he gets Schumacher at first base. But nice effort all around for Howie. Mark Ellis is second baseman, 1 for 2. Ball on a strike. Breaking pitches in there. I misspoke. Now it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Landed 69 pitches. That's been the kind of the frustrating part for Mike Socha and Mike Butcher as far as the starters, the struggles they've had last couple of weeks, trying to get the pitch count up, get the innings under their belt, getting ready for that opening day on Monday.
Yeah, I talked to Weaver before the game today. He had a nice 7-inning outing last time out. C.J. Wilson threw 6 in the 3rd in a minor league outing today. So there's finally getting stretched out where the point where they're going to be comfortable going deep into games once the regular season starts on Monday.
1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Schumacher standing at first. Scoreless here at the Big A in the 5th. Pitch out, nothing's going on. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You mentioned C.J. Wilson's line today in a minor league game. 5 2/3, 8 hits, 3 runs, all 3 earned, 6 strikeouts. Pardon me, 7 strikeouts, no walks. Through 89 pitches, 58 were strikes. Two and got him swinging. Blanton retires his former teammate with the Oakland Athletics. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th, still scoreless. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Angels and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Angels. Hyun-Jin Ryu, the Korean left-hander who came on and started this ballgame for the Dodgers, was spectacular through his 4 innings. And he gives way to another left-hander. It's Paco Rodriguez, the South Florida native, comes on in his place, and he'll be facing Hamilton, Trumbo, and Kendrick here in the 5th.
In the battle for that spot down in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Lost a good fastball, runs it away, low 90s slider. Likes to throw the backdoor slider to right-handed batters and changeup.
Given name Steven Rodriguez, goes by Paco. Originally a 48th round pick in 2009 by the Houston Astros. Did not sign, and then was a 2nd round pick last year by the Dodgers out of the University of Florida. Facing Josh Hamilton. Hamilton hit a fly ball to deep left center field his first time up, and the breaking pitch is in for a strike. See the defense for the Dodgers. Interesting thing about Rodriguez last year being drafted in that 2nd round, got to the big leagues last year as well. Josh waves at the off-speed pitch. It's an 0-2 count. Rodriguez pitched in 11 games for the Dodgers. 0-1 with a 1.35 ERA.
Well, you can see by that breaking pitch, very difficult for a left-handed batter to stay back against him.
This after 21 games in the minor leagues and a sub-1 ERA. Hamilton goes down swinging for the first out.
Pretty good sliders in a row. Josh Hamilton. You get ahead there, you can have that opportunity to expand the strike zone like Don Manning just wanted to see what he could be able to do against a tough left-handed batter, and in 3 pitches got him out.
Good old situational lefty. It looked like Kevin Gregg had been loosening for the Dodgers. We'll see who's coming on next. We're still scoreless here in the 5th. Former Angel Kevin Gregg comes on in place of Paco Rodriguez, who faced one batter and struck out Josh Hamilton. Evans signing with the Dodgers this past offseason after spending the last couple of seasons with the Baltimore Orioles.
He's doing the ball well for the Dodgers here in spring training with an opportunity to make that staff also.
Facing Mark Trumbo. The first fastball's a strike. Outside corner. Trumbo's 0 for 1. He punched down in the second. Dodgers pitchers with 5 strikeouts, 4 of which belong to Hyun-Jin Ryu. Mark fouls this one off to the right. 0-2 count.
Well, if you're a youngster watching this game tonight, you're seeing the importance of throwing strikes. All the pitchers in this game so far have been attacking the strike zone, utilizing their off-speed pitches, but above all, getting ahead of the count.
Just missed down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Greg last year with the Orioles, a 3-2 mark, a 4.95 ERA, pitching 40 games. The year after which he had 22 saves for the Orioles. Trumbo shoots one in the air toward the right field corner. Andre Ethier moving back, stepping onto the track to make the catch. 2 outs.
Still pretty impressive power to go that far the other way. A high fastball. Again, trying to make that adjustment. If there's a pitch away, go the other way. Hit it well, just to the warning track, and Ether able to run it down.
How much of that did we see last year in the first half from Mark Trumbo? 2 strikes, kind of a protect mode, not kind of a slappy type hitter, but if they were going to pitch him away, whether it was hard stuff or breaking pitches, he'd just take the single out to right field. That's why that batting average shot up over 300 during that first half of the season for him.
And you can see the type of power he has, how the baseball jumps off his bat. He didn't really have to swing hard, yet that ball went all the way to the warning track in right field, which is very hard to do when you're a right-handed batter.
And frustrating for a starting pitcher because he's hitting a pitcher's pitch.
Yeah, if you hit that spot, you go elevate fastball away, you're thinking that's going to be a routine play. Then you look up, you see your right fielder drifting back to the warning track, thinking that might go out.
Greg ahead of the count of the ball and 2 strikes on Kendrick. Punched out to end the second. Howie shoots one to right field. Is it going to hang up? It does for Ethier. And Dodgers pitchers remain perfect through 5. No score here at the Big A. Big A, the first of 3 of the Freeway Series. Joe Blanton is back out for the 6th inning, facing Kemp, Ethier, and Ellis. He's thrown 72 pitches, 3 punch-outs, 5 hits. The Angels have yet to get a base runner on board against Dodger pitching. Matt Kemp's 1 for 2, singled in the first and struck out in the third. Kemp last year missing 51 games, a couple of stints on the DL. It's in there for a strike, 1-1.
And later this year, he wanted to make sure he was quicker. And whatever it takes to stay healthy. It's so important to this club, not only with the bat, but also his leadership and his defense ability in center field for him.
Check swing. They want an appeal. He did not go. It's 2 balls and a strike. We were talking about Hamilton's incredible start last year. Matt Kemp was off to an incredible start himself.
Well, he's got unbelievable power, too. Matt Kemp can drive the ball out to all fields, as can Josh Hamilton. When you have that type of ability, it makes it difficult for a pitcher to hit spots against you.
Kemp, a very talented young man. Plays an excellent center field, gets great jumps on the ball.
And again, because he's so aggressive, that's why you see him getting hurt, because he's running for baseballs in the wall. We saw it in Colorado last year. You can't take that away from an athlete who wants to be able to be aggressive for a club. You can't just say when you get close to the wall, just, play it off the wall and get it in as quick as possible. That's his nature, to be as aggressive as possible.
3-2 in the air to right. Hamilton drifting back and to his left is there. Well, you talk about Kemp being a guy that goes full throttle, and you can't talk him back from the ledge, right? You can't tell him to, pull back off the throttle a little bit. You got 2 guys for the Angels who do exactly the same thing, Mike Trout and Josh Hamilton. Hamilton's always played that way. Trout, we just saw last year the way he plays the game. And you're right, you can't ask those guys. Well, I take that back. You can ask them.
They're not going to listen.
They're not going to listen. I mean, it's difficult because in the heat of the battle, they see the ball going, and their mindset is, I'm tracking everything down, whether it's Kemp or Trout or Hamilton. It doesn't matter. That's just how they're wired.
And they feel that they can win a game with their glove as well as they can with their bat.
Ethier yanks it foul.
Torrey Hunter was like that, too. Torrey felt that sometimes when he was able to rob a hitter of a home run, that was sometimes even a better feeling than if he actually hit one himself. Those type of athletes and players, you just let them play. And whatever happens, happens, but that ability to be able to create an opportunity to win a game with your glove is so important.
Pulled up the line, foul. 0-2 count on Andre Ethier. Yeah, Torrey ended up kind of dialing it back a notch, but that was age dictating that. It wasn't at 27, 28 years of old and throttling it back. Age caught up with him a little bit.
Taking a lot of that. I mean, all those games at the Metrodome early in his career was very difficult on the knees.
I tell you what a terrific job transitioning to right field as well. Still one of the best all-time quotes. Torrey Hunter at Camden,
I know where you're going.
Camden Yards, when Peter Borges made his debut, and we all got a chance to see how fast Borges was as Ethier strikes out swinging for the second out. Torrey Hunter saying about Peter Borges kind of reminds me of a young me.
We didn't let him go on that one. We talked about him the rest of the night on that one.
Torrey had some wheels, but Peter's got that 5th and 6th gear.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting to watch this outfield for the Angels. That's why you see Joe Blanton being aggressive and the rest of the staff. Another first pitch strike for Joe.
The strike out of Ethier, the 4th for Blanton.
Only 23 batters face 18 first pitch strikes for Joe Blanton tonight. Absolutely outstanding.
Boy, pitching clinic tonight for both sides. The Dodgers have one-upped Joe Blanton. 2-strike pitch is fouled back. 15 up, 15 down by Dodger pitchers. 3 of them so far: Ryu, Rodriguez, and Kevin Gregg.
That was an interesting pitch selection, too, for Blanton. An 0-2 changeup. You don't see that too often unless you have a lot of confidence in that pitch.
Breaking pitch away.
5 times in this game, Joe Blanton's been ahead of the count 0-2. You can afford to throw a changeup there. You can come back with a slider like he did just off the plate.
Ellis skies one out toward right. Josh Hamilton is there. 1-2-3 inning for Blanton. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Halo's looking for that first base runner. We're still scoreless. Strikeouts, 5 hits allowed. We are scoreless as we start this bottom of the 6th inning. 88 pitches for Joe Blanton. Talking things over with Mike Butcher. The Angels do have action going in their bullpen right now as Mark Lowe, the newest Angel, begins to get ready. Looks like he'll be coming on in the 7th. The Dodgers have a new pitcher on the mound, and it's Matt Guerrier taking over for Kevin Gregg, facing Alberto Callaspo. First one is in. Nope, just missed. 1 ball, no strikes. Callaspo, Iannetta, and Borges, the bottom third of the order.
And Matt Guerrier always had that good movement fastball. You saw that one at 90 with movement, 2-seamer away. Came up, did a nice job with the Minnesota Twins.
Callaspo lines one to right, and there's the first base runner of the evening for the Angels. A leadoff clean single to right field.
Callaspo, after a slow start in spring training, really turned it on, hitting 340 coming into this game. Good job of hitting right there. Got a fastball that was elevated enough to be able to hit in the right field for a base hit.
Dodgers do have a new catcher as well. A.J. Ellis is out. It's Tim Fedorovich behind the plate catching Guerrier. That one's in the dirt. Nice block by Fedorovich. 1 ball, no strikes on Iannetta. Hit a fly ball to center field his first time up.
Fedorovich very good defensively behind the plate for the Dodgers.
Iannetta's had a nice spring. 378 average, a couple of home runs, 7 runs batted in. Overall for the Angels, a 9-18-4 record in Cactus League action. Iannetta pulls it foul.
Well, they've certainly been swinging the bats exceptionally well. Hit 310 coming into this game. Triple, stolen base. We talked about that in the opening. So everyone's swinging the bat well. It's been trying to piece that bullpen together and be consistent. The rotation's coming into play right now. They're going deeper into games, throwing more strikes. And I put you pretty happy about that. I'm certainly happy with what we saw out of Joe Blanton tonight.
No doubt. Borges is on deck. Check in at first. Callaspo back. This will be the third season for Matt Guerrier with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Last year, 16 games only, 0-2 record of 3.86 ERA after pitching in 70 games for the Dodgers in 2011. Iannetta fouls one back. He's 1-2.
Definite prototypical sinker slider guy. Good fastball pitches both east and west with his pitches. Doesn't necessarily elevate his fastball, but good sinking in action, good slider also.
Right elbow tendonitis is what did in Guerrier last year, missing 119 games. One ball, two strikes. Callaspo over at first. Swing and a miss. One out. Pretty nasty slider right there with two strikes to get Iannetta.
Especially after you run that two-seamer in and then you expand the zone going away. Hard slider from him.
Originally a 10th round pick in '99 by the Chicago White Sox. There's Borges, Uribe playing in on the grass at third base, and they'll check in on Alberto.
One thing you see from the manager, Mike Soch, certainly a guy that likes to have movement from his runners. When you're facing a sinker slider type of pitcher, that's the guy that you more than likely will put a hit and run on, because the ball is going to be down in the strike zone. Better opportunity to be able to hit the ball on the ground.
1-0. Borges struck out his first time up. More than likely not in the starting lineup the first series. Halos opening up on Monday in Cincinnati. Figure that Mike Trout will be in center field. Perhaps Mark Trumbo in left field. Callaspo takes off. The hit and run was on. Uribe's got it to the backhand across the diamond, goes to throw, and they get Borges for out number 2 as Alberto advances to second.
Well, as a hitter, that's what you try to do in a hit and run situation, especially a difficult one that's running in. You're just trying to hit the ball on the ground, hope there's an infielder out of his position to be able to get that ground ball through that hole. But at the very least, because of that, you have a guy in scoring position for Mike Trout now.
Trout 0 for 2 with a couple of fly ball outs. Kemp did a nice job in the fourth inning on the drive that Trout hit to the alley in right center field. Big lead for Callaspo with 2 outs. That one misses way outside.
Yeah, you mentioned Mark Trumbo probably will get a majority of those starts in left field in Cincinnati, with Albert Pujols playing first base. Mike Trout moving over to center field.
Good old Great American Ballpark.
Good hitter's yard.
Yes, it is.
Especially if you hit a ball in the air with any distance at all. It's got a good chance of getting out.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Got a day game. It's a late afternoon start in Cincinnati on Monday for opening day. Off day on Tuesday, which is that built-in weather day, just in case. Night game on Wednesday, day game on Thursday, and then it's off to Texas.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. Opening up the season for the Angels in Cincinnati. Old school baseball there.
3 balls and no strikes. And you know what I got to look this up now that I say it. Well, Cincinnati's always had the season opener. That for the longest time, the parade and everything that goes on. Obviously, that is not occurring. Houston and Texas will open up the season with their Sunday night game. Trout with the intention to walk here. George Foster, I believe, is either headlining the parade or he's throwing out the ceremonial first pitch.
Well, you talk about a guy
Opening
with tremendous power.
Oh, no
Especially
batting gloves. Remember that?
Yeah, the other way to right center field.
That's going to be it for Matt Guerrier with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. A couple of men on. Belisario's coming on with no score. In attendance will receive a Mike Trout blanket courtesy of Pechanga Resort and Casino while supplies last. To purchase your tickets, visit the Angels Stadium ticket office or log on at angels.com. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning with no score. Ronald Belisario comes on in relief for Don Mattingly. Takes over from Matt Guerrier. You see the numbers overall, 68 games for Belisario. 8-1 record at 2.54 ERA. And when he is on, this Venezuelan right-hander has got legitimate stuff.
Yeah, he can throw a fastball every pitch because he's got that power sinker, mid-90s with tremendous movement, also a slider. And occasionally will be wild with 29 walks last season, but you saw that strikeout total as a guy that can get a lot of swing and misses.
He'll be facing Eric Ibar with Alberto Callaspo at second, Trout at first. No score. Callaspo, the first base runner of the game for the Angels, and that came leading off this inning with a base hit. The first pitch, an off-speed pitch from Belisario. And it's in there for a strike. Ibar's 0 for 2, couple of groundouts. One ball, one strike on Eric. Schumacher left, Kemp in center, both very shallow against Eric Ibar. Ethier straight up and right.
They're playing him the other way, especially you're pitching against your defense. That first pitch, a slider at 87. That gives Ibar the opportunity to be able to pull that ball and get to the gap in right center.
That one caught the inside corner at 93, 1-2. One, two on away. That's in the dirt. Nice job by Fedorovich. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's not an easy pitch to handle.
What a hard slider in the dirt. That spin when it hits the ground, very difficult. Nice job not only get it, but look right up right away to see if Callaspo would drift off the base at second.
Two on the way. Ibar chops it towards second base. Ellis will throw him out. The inning comes to an end. The Halos get a couple of men on and leave him stranded. 6 in the book, still no score. Big A, Joe Blant done after 88 pitches, 6 innings, 5 hits, 4 strikeouts for the right-hander. And a terrific job in his last spring training start.
Boy, that's what you want to take into your regular season. That confidence you have, you can throw all your pitches. And he threw, and not only his fastball was consistent, his changeup, his curve, and slider, he threw them for strikes early in the count.
There's Mark Lowe making his Angels debut, just acquired, actually just signed a couple of days ago, as Jerry DiPoto was telling us back in the 3rd inning that Mark was not going to make the Dodgers team. He signed with the Dodgers this offseason. The Angels had interest in him as early as October. And when Lowe realized that he was not going to make the Dodgers squad, opted out. The Angels signed him, and here he is pitching in his first game here at the Big A.
Well, I've always liked his fastball, even when he came up with Seattle. Mid-90s fastball, good breaking pitch, changeup. Just looking for that consistent arm slot to be able to stay down in the strike zone with that power fastball.
He is just 29 years of age, and as you pointed out, came up with the Seattle Mariners organization, product of the University of Texas, Arlington. First one to Juan Uribe is down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Uribe, Van Slyke, and Sellers are the scheduled 3 batters for Don Mattingly here in the 7th. Juan Uribe getting the start at third base tonight. 1 for 2. Single and a strikeout. .95 miles per hour. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lowe got into 36 games with the Texas Rangers last year. 0-2 mark, a 3.43 ERA. Uribe breaks his bat, loops one to center field, and it's a leadoff single. Second hit of the night. 6th overall for the Dodgers. Van Slyke will come up.
Well, as a pitcher, those are the pitches you feel bad about because you ran that fastball in, you jammed him, but Uribe was able to fight that one off and get it in. It breaks his bat. A piece of the bat flying, but is able to fight that into center field for a base hit.
Swing and a miss on the first fastball. 0-1 count on Van Slyke, who's 0 for 2. Popped out to Iannetta. It's grounded to short. Young man hit 18 home runs, drove in 67 at AAA last year, 327. Slider missing down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned Lowe coming over from the Dodgers this week. Originally in the Mariners organization and went to the Texas Rangers. He was part of that Cliff Lee trade between Texas and Seattle. At that point was hurt. Kind of sat out after he pitched in just a couple of games with Texas, 3 games to be exact that year. And he came back healthy the following season, pitching 52 games with Texas in 2011.
And always intrigued with a power fastball. We've seen a number at 95. But consistently hitting his spots with the fastball has been the big thing for him.
Two-one pitch. Foul back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Uribe with a leadoff single stands at first base. 2-2 on the way. This one sharply hit towards second. Howie's got it, bobbles it, only plays to first. Uribe advances to second base.
Well hit, an opportunity to be able to eventually have a double play here. Howie tried to make the turn to be able to get the ball out of his glove. Dropped to the ground, but still got the out. He was able to turn his body at the right time to be able to make the throw, but then the ball falls out of his glove. But still able to get that first out.
So man in scoring position for the Dodgers. Here's Justin Sellers, who's 1 for 2. Fastball missing downstairs. The Angels open up on the road against the Cincinnati Reds. The Dodgers will open up at home against the San Francisco Giants on Monday. Sellers fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike. We won't be going to Dodger Stadium tomorrow. We're not doing a game. Curious to see what that ballpark looks like now with all of the renovations that are still ongoing, is my understanding of it.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is still taking place at Dodger Stadium to try to get ready for opening day. When you have the Giants coming to town, that excitement that'll bring.
Weird now with the whole interleague schedule the way it is. 1-1 pitch is a strike, 1-2. Where we used to have that 3-game home-and-home series that the built-in rival between the Angels and the Dodgers, that's gone away now. Now it's just a 2-2. And it's in May, I believe it is, like the 12th. It's a Monday, Tuesday, Dodger Stadium, Wednesday, Thursday here at the Big A.
We also have that with the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's kind of cool to be able to go to the Wrigley Field once again, even if it's for 2 games.
As long as there's no what is that storm, that lightning storm that blew out windows in the John Hancock building. That was it 3 years ago.
Yeah, that was pretty tough. We were doing a post-game show right in the middle of that, as I recall.
And you being a fan of heights, being up in that booth up there with all that lightning and thunder, pitches up in there. It's a full count now.
Yeah, that was about as violent of a storm as we've seen. The game was going real fast that day, I remember, and then all of a sudden you could see how dark it was getting, and all of a sudden we kept saying, everyone said, well, you better get over soon because this storm's going to hit.
You were sweating so much, you were almost a case study.
And that's ongoing, I'm sure.
3-2 pitch. Sellers hits one out toward left center field. Trout moving over. He's there, makes the catch. Uribe will head back to second, 2 outs. You think they put in an elevator at Wrigley Field yet to take us to that broadcast booth?
It's all exercise at that point.
Those ramps. Great stadium, though.
Oh.
Fedorovich will step to the plate. 2 outs, and Uribe standing at second base. Good conversation between Lowe and Iannetta. 218 average this spring. The Dodgers don't worry about that a whole lot, with Fedorovich being the primary backup to A.J. Ellis. The first fastball is downstairs.
It's also an adjustment for Chris Iannetta to be able to catch Mark Lowe here. First time really seeing him. And then react on that fastball he has. You could say, okay, 95, but that has some good late action on there, too. As a catcher, you're still trying to be able to figure out a way to be able to frame those pitches and keep it close, that maybe an umpire can give you those calls.
This one pulled and underneath the glove of Eric Ivor to left field. Uribe's being waved around. Here comes the throw from Trout, and it's not in time. The Dodgers have themselves a 1-0 lead. Fedorovich with a 2-out single left.
Middle part of the plate, and Eric Ivor trying to do what an infielder is going to try to do with 2 outs is make sure you knock that ball down, but it was hit too well and just by the glove. As Uribe slides in for the first run of the game.
So Dodgers up 1-0, back to the top of the order. Skip Schumacher, the left fielder, at the plate. We'll swing at the first one, dribbles it up the first base line. Pujols will tag out Schumacher. And it comes to an end, but the Dodgers strike with a run on a couple of hits. 7th inning stretch time here at the Big A. Dodgers lead it 1-0. Inning. Belisario's back out. He came on last half inning. Get the last out. That was Ibar grounding out. Hey, MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Angels baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Angels.com for more details. Pujols, Hamilton, and Trumbo for the Angels here in the bottom of the 7th inning, down by the score of 1-0. Albert 0 for 2. Bouncer back to the mound and a strikeout. One ball, one strike. Belisario is the 5th pitcher for Don Mattingly tonight. Hyun-Jin Ryu. Left-hander got the start, perfect for 4 innings, including 4 strikeouts. Paco Rodriguez, a third of an inning. Kevin Gregg, 2/3. Matt Guerrier, 2/3. Bouncer towards short. Sellers has it. 1-0.
Belisario is on his game. You're going to see a lot of ground balls. See some strikeouts also, but he's a ground ball machine with that fastball down in the strike zone.
Hamilton steps up with an out, nobody on. Josh 0 for 2. Fly ball to left and a strikeout in the 5th. Ground ball to third. 2 outs. Here's Trumbo with 2 outs and the bases clear. Mark also for 2 with a strikeout and a fly to right. Trumbo fouls off the first one.
Mark had a pretty good pitch to hit there. That was fastball at 95, but it stayed up in the strike zone. He found that one straight back.
Watch out. Tailing fastball at 96. Evens the count of 1 ball, 1 strike.
That fastball just kept running in on Trumbo. And when you're a sinker baller, when you elevate a fastball, especially when you drop your elbow, you're going to have a running action. Instead of sink action, will run across and go right in at a right-handed batter.
Trumbo bounces it to short. Belisario looks to have a 1-2-3 inning, and sure enough, it is. 7 complete here at the Big A. The Dodgers leading the Angels 1-0. You have voted, we have listened. Hank Conger, 71%. Chris Snyder at 22%. And John Hester, who's now in the game, just at 7%. Maybe John can do something here over the last couple of innings that will turn the voting around.
Exactly. And Hank Conger has been throwing the ball much better of late from the catching position. He's had some great numbers offensively. That throwing motion's been much better, much improved for Mike Scioscia.
Dodgers lead it by the score of 1-0 here at the top of the 8th inning. Let's go to the mound because there's a new right-hander on the bump, and it's Austin Wood, a product of the University of Southern California. Takes over. Cedar Rapids last year, 26 starts, a 5-12 mark, and a 4.30 ERA. 6th round pick at 2011.
109 strikeouts in 127 2/3 innings pitched. So the strikeout total there very good, but the walk total at 72 needs to be more consistent. Trust in his stuff because he's got a good fastball.
Wood has not pitched a whole lot as far as big league games are concerned, just in hitting in 2/3 under his belt. Facing Ellis, Kemp, and Ethier, scheduled 3. This one looped towards second and just beyond the reach of Howard Kendricks. A leadoff single for Mark Ellis. Second straight inning in which the Dodgers have gotten their leadoff man on board. Uribe did it in the 7th and came around to hurt the Angels.
Fastball down and in, but Mark Ellis did a nice job of going inside out approach on that hard fastball. Just over the head of Howie into right field for a base hit.
Matt Kemp's 1 for 3. A single back in the first. Fastball at 95 is in for a strike. Mark Lowe, by the way, went 1 inning, gave up a run on a couple of hits. Joe Blanton went 6 innings tonight, struck out 4. He had allowed 5 hits. This one in the air down the right field line. J.B. Shuck giving chase. Dives, can't get it. That's a fair ball. And it'll rattle in the corner. Ellis will come in to score. Kemp around second, easily heading to third. It's 2-0 Dodgers on the Kemp triple.
Very difficult read for a right fielder against a right-handed batter because the ball is going to tail away from you as you try to make the play towards the line. Real good effort, but once it gets by into that corner, it's going to roll for a while. With the speed of Matt Kemp, he's going to easy cruise in for a triple and an RBI.
J.B. Shuck taking over for Josh Hamilton in right field. Efren Navarro taking over at first base for Albert Pujols. I already mentioned John Hester behind the plate. Infield halfway for the Angels with nobody out here in the 8th. Ethier takes that one down and away. Dodger right fielder 0 for 3. 9 hits tonight for the Dodgers against Angels pitching. He wanted a peel on the breaking ball and did not go. Ethier drives one out towards center. It's playable for Borges. Deep enough to score Kemp. A sacrifice fly for Andre Ethier makes it 3-0 Dodgers. Ethier picks up his 7th RBI of the spring. Bases are clear with 1 out. Here's Matt Angle, the pinch hitter. Pitcher's spot. The first one is down and away.
Seen a good fastball from Wood here. 94, 95, almost every one of them. Again, you want to throw off the timing of a hitter, an all-speed pitch here and there, sticking him off that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Angle swinging through that one. 2 balls and 1 strike. The 5-12 record for Wood last year. Cedar Rapids coming on 26 starts. 109 strikeouts and 127 2/3 innings. Angle flips one out toward left. Trout coming on. 2 outs. So 2 outs. Another pinch hitter coming up for Don Mattingly. 3-0 Dodgers here in the 8th. Little Nick Punto coming up. Punto batting in the Juan Uribe spot. Uribe started third, went 2 for 3 tonight with a couple of singles and a run scored.
It was interesting, the conversation with Mike Trout and Peter Borges after Trout made that play on that fly ball, looking up the lights. Obviously, difference in the lights, not playing a lot of night games down there in Arizona too, so that's an adjustment on the defensive side also.
Breaking pitch, and that got Punto on the foot. Punto will head over to first.
Breaking pitch. Go through that one. It's the front of the foot. Nick Punto is not going to give up any space there. He's got to just try to get on base.
Now with Hanley Ramirez out for a while, mentioned earlier in the game about that third base position as Van Slyke takes that one up and in. Uribe, McPunto, Jerry Hairston Jr. would figure to get some playing time. Rotation, however, Mattingly wants to play that out for the Dodgers until Ramirez comes back. Two balls, no strikes. Mike Butcher is going to go out and pay a visit. Dodgers with a run in the 7th. 2 outs, single by Fedorovich. Brought home Uribe. Here in the 8th inning, Wood with a leadoff single to Ellis, the triple to Kemp, and then the sac fly to Ethier.
You can almost tell that conversation between John Hess and Mike Butcher and Austin Wood is, hey, your fastball has electric movement on it right now. You just got to try to stay down in the strike zone, utilize that, try to get the ground ball. Trust your stuff. As a youngster, that's the biggest thing when you're facing major league hitters in a major league park like he is tonight. Everything speeds up against you. You want to sit back and relax and think in terms of, I have the stuff to get hitters out.
3-0. Sellers is on deck. And they walked him on 4 pitches. So a hit by pitch. That's how Punto reached on the very first offering from Wood. And now the 4-pitch walk to Van Slyke. It's 2 on with 2 outs. Mike Scioscia's coming out. We've got ourselves a pitching change. David Carpenter is coming on in relief. We're in the 8th inning. 3-0 Dodgers. A couple of men on for Los Angeles. Carpenter, 28 games last year, 1-2 record and a 4.76 ERA. He has thrown the ball well this spring. And he's got a chance to make the opening day roster.
Yeah, he's certainly in that mix as far as guys out of the bullpen for Mike Scioscia. That sinker, going to get a lot of ground balls, good sweeping slider also. Better velocity on the fastball. Last year in spring training had a very good spring. Made the club, so again, back throwing very well.
Texas native, 25 years of age. Will face the shortstop Justin Sellers. That's Nick Punto standing at second. Scott Van Slyke over at first. Sellers tonight 1 for 3, a single and a couple of fly ball outs to left. Slider missing down low, 1 ball, no strikes. Halos in the bottom of the 8th inning will have Kendrick Callaspo and Iannetta due up. Not Iannetta, pardon me, Hester. Tough night offensively for the Angels, in that they've been retired in order. 6 of the 7 innings offensively tonight. Multiple base runners in the 6th inning. That's it. Here's the 1-0. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes.
A lot of different looks they had to deal with too during the course of the game. Don Mattingly utilizing that bullpen for the Dodgers. Ryu was outstanding in his 4 innings.
(2-0) in the dirt. Gets by Hester, he can't find it. Runners will advance. Go down as a wild pitch, I would presume.
Fastball in the dirt. Hester trying to pick it up. That's where you look for communication help as much as possible from your pitcher. You got to try to point to a zone where you think the baseball might be out, but difficult once you lose track of that as a catcher.
Three 0s in for a strike. And he walked him, so the bases are loaded. Back-to-back walks, and that'll bring up Mike Butcher yet again. Fedorovich strolls to the plate, trying to get that third out here in the 8th inning. Had a long spring training, the extended spring training because of the World Baseball Classic.
30 games the Angels are going to play, most ever for a spring training schedule. That's not even including some split squad games and obviously some players going down to minor league games too, getting their swings and or their pitches in.
Fedorovich is 1 for 1. Singled home a run in the 7th inning to put the Dodgers up 1-0. No place to put them. 1 ball, no strikes. Punto standing at third, Van Slyke at second, Sellers at first. Bouncer toward third, Callaspo plays it in foul territory. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two more games as far as spring training games are concerned. Dodger Stadium tomorrow night. Back here on Saturday night, 6 o'clock start on Saturday, 6:05. 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Stick around after the game. Michael Leaves, Jose Mota, Jamie Maggio, wrapping things up with Angels Live post-game edition. A short post-game extravaganza. Carpenter trying to get the Angels out of this 8th inning. 2-2, got him swinging down, goes Fedorovich. The inning comes to an end, but not before the Dodgers extend their lead. They get a couple of runs. They lead it 3-0. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Howie Kendrick, Alberto Callaspo, John Hester due to face the new pitcher for the Dodgers. It's Kenley Jansen.
Another power arm out of the bullpen for the Dodgers. 99 strikeouts, 65 innings pitched for the Dodgers. Power fastball, upper 90s. Good breaking pitch also.
Boatload of changes for Don Mattingly, too, defensively. Jock Peterson takes over in left field. Matt Engel, who pinch hit in the top of the 8th inning, stays in the game in center field. Elian Herrera is in right field. Nick Punto pinch hit in the top of the inning. He stays in the game over at third base. Skip Schumacher got the start in left field, is now over at second base. Those are the changes for Don Mattingly so far. The beauty of spring training. Thankfully, at least at this stage of the game, it's late in the game, unlike first couple of weeks.
Boy, a lot of opportunities for players to make impressions. The manager, front office, getting some serious playing time in the beginning part of the spring.
Howie Kendrick tonight 0 for 2. A strikeout, the fly ball to right as Jansen's first pitch is down low. Two balls and no strikes. Jansen last year pitching 65 games for the Dodgers, a 5-3 mark. 2.35 ERA, saving 25 games. Now he punches one over to second base. Schumacher's got it. One away. Jansen last year with his season set career highs in appearances, innings, wins with 5 saves of those 25, punch-outs with 99. Third big league season. Native of Curacao. Piaspa takes the pitch inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Alberto 1 for 2. He had a single in the 6th inning. Jansen had to deal with some medical issues in 2011. Hospitalized with an irregular heartbeat. This one's popped up. Third base side. Fedorovich giving chase. And he'll make the basket catch. 2 outs.
It's always one of those difficult plays, too. Not only have to deal with the ball potentially going out, but then you have the on-deck circle with bats right by you, but he kept his eye on to make sure he kept his body in position to be able to keep that ball. Just in case it bounced out of the glove, he was going to be able to corral it with his body. Nice play by Fedorovich on that pop-up.
So 2 outs, the base is cleared. J.B. Shuck steps in. And so she's shuffling the lineup, even though Hester came in behind the plate. This is Chris Iannetta's spot in the order.
And Shuck has had a nice spring, hit over 350.
Signed in the offseason with the Houston Astros organization.
He's played into the mix for that potential extra outfielder for the Angels.
That's a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Shuck still just 25 years of age. Two one. That's a strike in at the knees. Shuck, a product of Ohio State University. 2008 draft pick of the Astros. 2-2, missed away, and it's a full count.
Terry Smith on the radio side likes that. Former Ohio
that's why-
State Buckeye.
That's why Terry's been all over Shuck.
No question.
Pumping him up.
Yes, he has.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
3-2 on the way. Shuck loops one out toward left field. That's a base hit. Nice effort by Sellers. But it falls in for a 2-out single. And why is Terry standing up and cheering? No, I'm just kidding.
It's all about the Ohio State.
Just the third base runner for the Halos tonight. Piaspa with a single leading off the 6th inning. Trout drew a walk in the 6th. And now this base hit by Shuck as Borges comes up. Missing inside with that fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Peter tonight is 0 for 2. Strike out and a ground ball to third base. Shuck takes off. The pitch is a strike. The throw down from Fedorovich is not in time. Boy, from our vantage point, it looked like Fedorovich's throw was on the money. Schumacher with a quick tag, but it is a stolen base.
What a quick release by Fedorovich.
Yep. Okay, got the hand in there just in time.
Real good angle here. You can see the hand got in there before the tag was applied. A sweep tag. Still being aggressive even though behind 3-0 here with 2 outs, trying to get a guy in scoring position for Peter Borges, who's had a nice spring.
1-1 pitch fouled back. 1-2. Trout is on deck. Dodgers with a run in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, leading at 3-0.
I mean, a lot of times you're sitting there watching the game at home. You see, the Angels are down 3-0. You wonder why you would take that chance with 2 outs to have somebody steal and potentially end the inning on a stolen base attempt. But the reason why you do that is put yourself in scoring position. You got to chip away somehow. Peter Borges, more of a contact guy. The man on second can drive him in with a base hit.
Borges takes a called strike 3. The inning comes to an end. We will head to the 9th. Dodgers leading the Angels 3-0. Nothing. They'll be facing the top of the order, and we'll see what 3 guys Don Mattingly will run out there. Originally in the order, Schumacher, Ellis, and Kemp. I would imagine Schumacher still gets the opportunity, but there's Scotty Downs and his numbers. 57 games last year, 1-1 mark at 3.15 ERA.
And he struggled somewhat this spring training. So an important outing here for Scott Downs to be able to get back to that ability to be able to hit the spots with his fastball, both inside and outside. 88 to 90 range with his fastball. Good sweep and breaking pitch.
A couple of changes in the outfield for the Angels. J.B. Shuck, who got some playing time in right field last inning, is now in center field. Randall Grichuk is the new right fielder for the Angels, and a couple of new infielders as well. Luis Jimenez takes over at third base. Luis Rodriguez at second base. Eric Ibar and Mike Trout, the starters that have gone the distance. Skip Schumacher does step to the plate. 1 for 4 tonight. He had a single in the 5th inning. Just missed underneath the hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. Downs this spring, now pitching his 7th official game. No record of .794 ERA, 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. Two balls and 1 strike.
And even though you're a veteran, you know exactly what it takes to get ready for the start of the season. You still want to have some kind of a good outing to be able to build that confidence as the regular season starts on Monday. Associate likes to use him in key situations. So it's good to get him back going.
A jam shot roller to second base. Rodriguez in a bar. There's the first down here in the 9th. So Elian Herrera will step to the plate with 1 out. Nobody on. 3-0 Dodgers. .251 average, a home run at 17 runs batted in his career. The first one is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Rare last year got into 67 games for the Dodgers at 251. Rest of the time at AAA Albuquerque. This one's hit in the air towards center. Shock a couple of steps to the alley in left center field. Puts it away. 2 outs. The Angels in the bottom of the ninth inning have Trout, Ibar, and we believe to be Navarro due up. Assuming the swap out of Navarro and Pujols was straight up. First one on the way, and the breaking ball is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Now you know that Scott Downs, one of those guys that is a pitch to contact type, relies on location. Swing and a miss. That's a good pitch right there underneath the hands of a left-handed batter.
He does that as well as any left-handed pitcher I've seen to be able to pitch inside against a left-handed batter. Most times as a lefty reliever coming in, you're going to have a guy with a big breaking ball, will pitch away, but Downs has that ability to pitch inside and get lefties out with that pitch.
Breaking ball a little bit high.
They're talking to himself. He opened up quick on that front shoulder. That didn't allow him to get through his pitch, and that elevated his breaking pitch there.
Two one on the way. Ground ball sharply hit, but right to Navarro. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Scott Downs. We'll head to the bottom of the ninth inning. The Angels trailing the Dodgers 3-0. Mike Trout fans certainly happy that Mike Trout stayed in the game, played the entire ball game. It's been a tough go for the Angels offense against the Dodgers pitching. Dodgers pitching did a terrific job tonight, throwing a lot of strikes, keeping Angel hitters off balance. And they pretty much ran into the varsity too of the Angels. They just could not figure it out as Brandon League takes over here in the ninth for the Dodgers.
Another one is power arms out of the bullpen for the Dodgers here. Brandon League, fastball 93-97, slider, and a very good swing and miss split finger fastball.
Trout tonight 0 for 2. Fly ball to right, fly ball to center. And a walk. First one is in for a strike. This one pulled over to third base. Punto with a backhand. And they get Trout for the first down here in the ninth. So Ibar will come up. Eric tonight 0 for 3. Be at Dodger Stadium tomorrow night. The Freeway Series continues. .7:10 start tomorrow from Dodger Stadium. Josh Becker going up against Jason Vargas. And then Saturday night, 6:05 start right here at the Big A. Zach Greinke going against Tommy Hanson.
Big start for Tommy Hanson also. Able to stretch it out last time out in a simulated game.
Ibar pulls one, and nice diving stop by Van Slyke at first. 2 down.
Van Slyke reacted very well, able to extend and make that play. Good feed over to Brandon Lee covering first base. They've been doing that for about 4 or 5 weeks straight where the pitcher's fielding their position. Nice play by Van Slyke at first base.
So Efra Navarro will come up with 2 outs. The base is clear. First one is in for a strike. Team Mexico.
Well, just an exceptional fielding first baseman.
Count is evened up at a ball and a strike. Swing and a miss. Good fastball from League. 1-2.
Now, this is usually the time when League will throw that split finger fastball. Let's just go to out pitch.
The ball hits one out to center field. This should do it. The Dodgers take the first one of the Freeway Series by the final of 3-0.
Well, the bottom line is the Dodgers pitchers just did an exceptional job as far as throwing strikes. But the big story, Joe Blanton was outstanding in his 6 innings. No walks. Once again, 4 strikeouts, 6 shutout innings. Dodgers able to pull this one out 3-0. But Joe Blanton was the story for the Angels tonight.
Yeah, the offense could not get it going against Dodgers pitchers. 3-0. The Angels get shut out. Tomorrow night it'll be at Dodger Stadium as Jason Vargas makes his last spring tune-up start. 3-0 the finals. The Dodgers want to stick around. Michael Leaves, Jose Mota, along with Jamie Maggio will have Angels Live post-game edition coming up right after this.